The government could seize control of Britain's biggest water supplier as troubled Thames Water heads for bankruptcy.
Thames Water going to be nationalised.
The company is deep in debt, lost its chief executive and is at risk of going bust, with growing outrage over sewage spills and soaring complaints from bill payers.
The idea that we're going to have even greater water bills, soaring bills at a time of prices already being hiked, that's tough if you're a mum like me.
The government has pledged that water will carry on flowing no matter what, but consumers fear that they will be left footing the multi-billion-pound bill for any bailout. Also tonight, a critical risk to pupils and staff, how unsafe school buildings are putting thousands in danger of injury or worse. Recovered from the deep, mangled wreckage from the doomed Titanic sub is brought ashore in Canada. How's that? How England's Bairstow foiled a pitch invasion by climate campaigners at the home of cricket. And
sorry that they're about 80 years too late, but we hope you'll wear them with pride. And we thank you for your service.
Happy birthday, Henny. How a woman who fled the Nazis finally received her war medals the day she turned 100.
This is the ITV Evening News with Mary Nightingale.
Good evening. Urgent discussions are underway tonight to try to pull Thames Water, Britain's biggest water company, back from the financial brink. The government is said to be considering bailing out the struggling company, which has debts of £14 billion, by putting it into emergency nationalisation. 15 million households rely on the water giant, but the government has moved to reassure customers they will not be impacted. Thames Water says it is working with shareholders to try to raise cash. Here's our consumer editor, Chris Joy.
After months of complaints over sewerage pollution, floods and bills, tonight Britain's biggest water supplier appears also to be awash with debt. This customer fears that either bill payers or taxpayers will end up picking up the tab.
I feel pretty furious, both furious and terrified. The idea that we're going to have even greater water bills, soaring bills at a time of prices already being hiked. We have to pay a lot for food. That's tough if you're a mum like me, already struggling to get the things that my kid needs.
Thames Water serves 15 million people across London and the southeast of England, and its latest investor report shows just over £14 billion in debts. But the water company says it has strong liquidity, with £4.4 billion in cash and funding, and it's promised to invest £1.6 billion in sewerage treatment in the next 2 years.
Our customers just find spills unacceptable.
Yesterday, Thames Water's chief executive Sarah Bentley quit the business after 2 years. Today, concerns reached the House of Commons.
If this means a taxpayer-funded bailout, how much will that cost and how will it be paid for?
Water companies are commercial entities, and it is for the company and its investors to resolve any possible issues.
Construction of this new super sewer shows just how vital Thames Water's work is. Tonight, government is said to be considering contingency plans, including temporary nationalisation if needed. Responding today to what it calls speculation over its future, Thames Water said it's had £500 million of new investment from shareholders and is now working on funding needed for its turnaround. Sorting out pollution and leaks is costing billions. This infrastructure official says Thames Water's problems raise wider issues.
Well, I think in the past one could be critical of the investors in Thames Water who decided to actually borrow against the company's balance sheet to repay their original investment in dividends. So they've loaded up the balance sheet with more debt.
Customers rightly want the lowest possible pollution, but also the lowest bills. For Thames Water and the entire sector, that's creating a financial fault line.
Well, Chris, this sort of problem doesn't just happen overnight, does it? What has gone wrong? What's the background?
Well, it's quite easy to pick out the financial burdens that have been marching towards Thames Water. First of all, when it comes to pollution, there'd been far too many really ugly incidents. In fact, if you look at the Environment Agency's last annual report, you'll find Thames Water responsible for around a fifth of serious incidents. On top of that, there's this other problem, that summers are getting warmer, winters are drier. The whole question of water security. Do we have enough in terms of supply for everyone? Both of those problems require big investment. Then, the flip side, pressure to keep bills low, especially in this cost of living crisis. And we see today the Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, met with Ofwat, the industry's regulator, in an attempt to make sure they keep bills as low as is possible. So you've got these two competing tensions playing out and affecting Thames Water and indeed the whole sector.
All right, Chris, thank you.